Today is Monday, February 12th, 2018. My name is Edna Sussman. I'm a reference librarian here at the Half Hollow Hills Community Library. We're interviewing Joseph C. Ferzola, a Korean Army veteran, as part of our Veterans Testimonial Project and in collaboration with the Library of Congress's Veterans History Project. Thank you so much, Joe, for your service and for being willing to participate in our project today. Joe, where and when were you born?
Either New Paltz, New York, or in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, and what day and year?
I was born 7/16/29.
Okay. And what were your parents' names and what did they do?
My mother's name was Rose. Her maiden name was Constable. My father was James Ferzola. And ironically, in looking on a computer, there were James Ferzola from Asia to Timbuktu.
Really?
And I don't know how, because what I learned was that he came to this country at 15 through South America.
Through South America?
Yeah, because see, you had quota times at that time. So many people. Germany had the least quota. France was a little more. Italy was there. And then when it was full, you couldn't enter the United States.
Right.
And when I had time, I went to Ellis Island, and his name wasn't in the books. So he had to come maybe through Philadelphia or elsewhere. And I believe he drafted rather than joined the military, which he was in for 4 years in the Rainbow Division, from what I found out.
World War I.
World War I.
Was that Army?
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you have any siblings? Do you have any
My
siblings?
sister, yeah, she was 8 years older than me.
And what was her name?
Mary Ferzola.
And did she serve in the military?
No.
No. So what were you doing before you entered the service?
My first job was an elevator operator in a hotel in New York, which they called the Yo-Yo Boy.
Was that right after high school you got it?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And then?
And then afterwards, I wanted to get into civic service time, but they wouldn't let me get in because of my name. I told you the story where I went to get a job in Bell Telephone Labs. They says, the brother promised, he says, you're sure to pass the exam. He took a big exam, which I did, but they told me there's no opening then. But the brother says, keep on going till they had opening. And then he would take his name, which was McDonald. He says, you're smart. You know why there's no job here. Aww. And at that time, they even wanted me to get into politics. But right away, the guy who wanted me to get into politics said, all you have to do is, when I tell you to say yes, and when I tell you to say no. And I didn't have nobody doing the thinking for me.
No, smart.
I didn't care that much. So I didn't take that job. And however, as an Italian, I could go into the sanitation department, but I didn't care for that either. Which is interesting, because years later, when we traveled to Europe, there was no sanitation department in all of Europe.
Huh. Wow.
There wasn't that much garbage.
Yeah.
When you think about it. So it was interesting,
Very interesting.
to see the color.
So you were drafted, you didn't enlist into the Army?
Yeah, to the military.
And what year was that?
I think that was 1950, the 28th of February.
So what happened when you departed for training camp? And while you were doing basic training, your early days of training?
Well, the early training, wisdom sets in because you mature early in life. Like the things I told you, like guys that couldn't see, he would say, you're not going to pull anything over a sergeant. I'd say, if you could see the E on the board, you're in.
Yeah.
The same way with here, all those who were deaf step to the left. And you're, okay, get back in line, you're in.
Where was the basic training camp?
Fort Dix, I think.
New Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we went to the Fort upstate New York.
Oh.
I think that was Fort Knox.
Okay.
I was thinking for very preliminary to where I was going to send. Then I was sent to Indianapolis, Indiana, where there was the main camp, where you went to full maneuvers and so on.
So basic training was about how long, do you think?
Over several weeks,
Yeah.
all in all.
And then, what did you learn? Did you learn anything specialized training, or what did you learn
Well,
very basic?
looking to what branch you wanted to go or ask for or be aware when they want to volunteer. And what I didn't want to be a forward observer because you had to go behind enemy lines with a lieutenant. I wasn't happy with the M1 rifle because you couldn't load it if you had 2 rounds in it. I wanted a machine gun. But then I learned prior to going into the machine gun group that you only last 19 seconds upon firing. Because you have to be taken out. Then I learned different things, like with the tank, the noise in the tank,
Too
and
loud.
the recoil injured one of the guys with his jaw when he came back. And the other thing, even with the cannon artillery, you stay behind the line, but the noise, and you had to dig a trench for the cannon. I said, you could be there day and night and not get 2 inches in the ground. And you're only 5 miles behind enemy line.
Wow. So
So
they
I didn't
gave you
care
a
for-
choice?
Well, the things that I would look at and ask the sergeant to get you in, if you could get in that. But then one day, like, anybody here familiar with a camera?
They asked.
They asked. So I raised my hand because I used to take wedding pictures on the side at home.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, yeah. And when I waited for even for a photographer, all I had to do was take the pictures in church, and I would get $30 and turn the negatives over to him. And then later on in life, I used to do it all on my own.
Oh, wow.
My own dark room and my
Really?
own thing. Yeah.
Wow.
So got into that. So getting wise, see, again, New Yorker, your curiosity. Like I even told the woman upstairs when I come in, hurry up and wait. That was something you learned in the military, and most GIs know that, still exists to this day
Right.
in life.
So
That's how I
you
got-
volunteered to be a photographer?
Yes, combat
You
photography.
were still a stateside then?
Stateside,
So
which was learning too.
did you have to take any specialized training for the photography?
Not specialized training, but I seen a hell of a lot of that. Because in camp, whenever there was a GI who went to town or driving back was involved in an accident, before the police could go into it, because that's government property, a GI. So I had to be there to photograph it.
Wow.
And I've seen a lot of things. I've seen one time, 1 in the morning, get a call, somebody coming from one of the southern states, hit an embankment, drew him out of the car. He went over the wall, slow wall, and then the car would come on top of him.
Oh, my God.
I took pictures of that. Then they would clean the area, the police would take care there. 2 o'clock in the morning, get the call, the same place, another GI, the same spot, the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was that?
In Indiana,
Oh, Indiana.
Indiana.
Wow.
That's the raceway of the United
Yes,
States,
right,
out
right.
there. Another time, there was a car that had skidded. How it got on the overpass, put an engraved thing of the car, where it showed the light, the wheels, the cabin, all in stone. But they had removed the car from the wall. So I had to photograph that, which wasn't taken at that time because he was taken to the hospital. Another time, when a bus was coming from the town of Indianapolis, the one side of the bus was involved in an accident with a woman head on, that all the GIs on the right side got injured because of the pole. And the guys on the left were okay. But the woman in the car, she had a GI on her lap.
What do you mean?
It got decapitated, the first guy, and it wound it through the windshield of hers, and she was like this. And when she seen that, she lost it.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, that GI had to be photographed, all the things to be photographed. Another one, which was horrendous too, was like there was a big island between the two going north and south. Going south was a driving car, and the other one. Now, Indianapolis Speedway, they all drove fantastic speeds, 70, 100 miles an hour. In fact, almost to the point where I had to photograph the skid mark of the car, which almost was a mile before he hit the car on the other side. So you've seen a lot of tragedy.
Sure.
And you were called on that. Also, you were called when Bob Hope was there.
On
With
base?
Gloria
On the
Graham, yeah.
Oh.
So, anyway, a lot of things like that, parties and so on. And also, I was invited to the General's Hospital home, rather, which was very interesting. Having a New York mind, you see how a chain of command is. I also was when he held. Did it go short already? Oh, one more thing I'll tell you.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, was when you see GIs and you see a sergeant rule, the sergeant has got the voice. You do what he says. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. When the CO tells the sergeant what to do, the same thing. Also, too, when the general's there and the CO commanding officer, colonel, is there, the sergeant say, name, rank, and serial number, or you'll be back as a private. That's how the chain of command was.
Right.
But when we went to take pictures of the general at his home, you walked in, the colonel drives you there.
Oh.
And then the colonel says, please, Joe, I got ulcers. Behave, he says, because the colonel was telling me, he says, he's got ulcers because he's got a nerve. He couldn't wait to get out because every time it was a general, he was like a nervous wreck. So he rang the bell, we walk in, general comes out, shakes his hand, shakes my hand. Then the missus comes out and says, John, what's the matter with you? Where are your manners? Take the young man's hat and coat and hang it up.
Cute.
Chain of command.
Chain of command.
So you learn.
That's
That was
cute.
a sweet thing. Things like that.
Why did you have to go to the colonel or general's home?
The general's home,
General's
but I
home.
had to go with the colonel in a Jeep.
Why did you have to go there?
Well, you have to go because the colonel wanted to see the general.
Oh, you
And
don't know
because-
what was happening between
You
them.
don't know what happened. It was just general photograph of
Oh,
the
I
general and his
see.
wife. The colonel to make.
Okay, take pictures.
Yeah, a little thing.
Okay, so you were still at this point in Indiana.
Yes.
How was it adapting to military life? The barracks and the food and,
Well, it was interesting with the different commodity that you had from different guys from different parts of the country. Like one guy in the time, he got, I don't know how many times he got an emergency leave to go home.
oh,
And mind you, the reason why he had to go home, because his wife was an nymphomaniac. And he got it to a medical facility because his wife missed him so much. There you go. He wasn't happy to do it, but he went.
they let him go that often?
Oh, yeah, because she would raise all hell. Became a public problem as well as a military
Oh, I
problem.
see.
So while he was still in basic, I don't know what happened to him the last time he went, because you never seen him come back.
Wow.
So interesting.
How did you find the food and getting along
Well,
with
the
everyone?
food like usual, like what they say, the coffee's like mud. It is.
Really?
And KP duty is not just dishes, it's garbage cans where they cook food. You come out after 12, 14 hours with more grease on your clothes than anything else.
Did you have to cook it or serve it or?
No, I didn't have to, but I photographed the cafeteria and talked with the guys.
Oh, I
See,
see.
I got around very easy
Nice.
as a combat photographer that had the camera to take pictures. And every event, everything, I would get to go. And I would have
That's
either
nice.
an MP or a corporal driving me.
Now, did the Army supply the camera and film
Oh,
and
yeah.
all that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Camera, all
Good equipment?
Oh, yes, speed graphic, which today I still have that camera.
Do you?
And mind you, I was offered, I see it on eBay, something like $6,000.
Good for you.
I didn't know. Mind you, the old flash bulbs, do you know that the weight value for a collector's item?
No, I didn't have any idea.
Which I had a whole box of them.
Wow.
The things you learn that you
Yeah.
don't realize.
Now, after basic, where were you sent?
No, I was always with the general.
Okay, but you were,
Wherever he went, I went.
okay. So then you didn't stay in Indiana your whole service?
No, even That was weird, and I don't know why, and you don't ask questions. I got to go with him in a plane where I wound up in Korea.
Oh, okay.
But I wasn't there long, because after one or two instances where we got incoming fire, and the general looked at me, it was nothing. There was a little spot where I got a little shot.
You did or he did?
No, I did.
You did? Oh,
I don't know where it even came from. I don't even know, because that was 5 miles and back. So I didn't know what happened. But he seen it. I didn't even see it. He says, "Joe, we're getting out of here." So like he was actually saved my life.
yeah.
Because I don't know how I could have been there, remained there, and everything. But that was nothing. We went to a couple other places.
In
and
Korea?
He did say, that he went to, which I didn't know where. And then next thing I knew, I wound up back to Indiana with him.
Oh, you did?
Right.
So you stayed together with him most of the time of your service?
I was assigned as a combat photographer to him.
To him.
All the time, like I got, when it was okay, like when Bob Hope showed up,
Yeah.
or interim years tour with Gloria Graham, she was a beautiful, little trivia there too. When he went off stage and what's his other guy that was a comedian? I don't
Jack
remember.
Benny? No?
No. Black, he was a black guy.
Oh, Sammy Davis? No, he's too young.
Well, neither here nor there. When he was out, he would go on the sideline and he would have the woman to pour Shenley's. I always wanted it over the ice cubes and take a sip. That by the time it was all done, he finished the bottle.
Do you mean when he was going to perform again? He was still drinking?
Well, the general wasn't. When he was before, and he would go in and out for different things, for breaks, to go in to take a little sip.
That's cute.
You
Did
know,
you get-
all the GIs were there. The whole division was there.
Really? Where, and
In Indiana,
in
too.
Indiana? So, so when you were in Korea, did you witness any destruction or casualties? Did you have to take
You
pictures?
heard incoming shrapnel. There was the other thing. I don't know if I should even say this. One of my photos at the facility on the base, 5 miles injured. They can't send you to the hospital because you would never make it.
Oh,
But the soldier would be sedated. I feel bad about saying this. And if I were to take photos home, I would be court-martialed.
right.
Because every photo is government property.
Right.
But I remember wholeheartedly, this was the operating table, here was a butcher block, typical butcher block in a butcher shop. And a GI would be given a cleaver to chop the feet off while they were in the boots. Because if you took the boots
And now
between...
that he was deceased already?
No, still alive with a wound.
Oh,
But to operate on him, he has to be in the nude because the cold make frozen feet, it would be black. They wouldn't bother taking the boots off because it would break and pus would come out and contaminate the thing. But I feel bad about it if mothers knew.
sure.
But yet it had to be done.
But then they lived. They
Well, yeah,
saved
they
him.
lived. See, even in Indianapolis too, like one day, I forget how it came, but I visited where you had, remember the way in Huntington, you had the hospital
Okay.
there? Well, it was the hospital looked the same way, like you had off of Colmac Road. But the upper floor, where GIs were wounded from landmines. I remember the Queen of England, that where she wanted all the countries to ban that because most of the GI from the waist down received that thing. In fact,
What do you mean?
the genitalia and their legs
Oh.
would be blown off.
Oh, I see. Oh,
People don't know that.
but they
It's-
still lived?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know who died and who didn't, because mine's operate. Remember, even the Queen of England, she went around trying to ban that. To this day, still be used, and it should be banned. Like the napalm bomb and so on, that should be banned. Because even I've heard with GIs, the only way they could speak was with their eyes and their genitalia gone. We don't know what goes on in the woods
That's
when
terrible.
you're so young.
Terrible.
If mothers knew, the tears would flow like
Sure.
flows.
What? So when you were in, how long were you actually in Korea?
Time, I don't know, because days, you didn't know dates or anything.
Right.
The time just went.
Okay.
It just went.
So did you have to take pictures of,
It was my option.
oh, okay,
My option for photos.
what you had to take, what you were going to take?
Yeah.
Okay, just documenting everything.
Yeah, as much what I can, what you thought. In fact, it was funny when I seen the movie Sniper.
Oh, okay.
People got up and clapped. When I saw that movie, that wasn't a combat photographer. No combat photographer gets in front of the gun. He stays in back of the
Oh, I
gun.
see.
And they showed that. And they never told in that picture what happened to his buddy, because his buddy was shot.
Oh, okay.
That Hollywood made that movie specifically for that guy and his wife. But it wasn't all the truth.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, how did you stay in touch when you were overseas with family and friends?
Didn't.
You didn't?
Yeah.
It's too hard with mail and so forth.
But yet, when I got home, and when my wife passed away, it was a cardboard box like this. And when I said, it's so light, why would she be saving it? When I opened it, you see the red, white, and blue. And then you could see too, like, even in service, when you got mail, everybody in the barracks rushed to get mail.
Oh,
And I looked for Jerry's thing,
Jerry?
right? My wife.
Okay. Were you married when you went over?
No.
Okay, but you were dating?
Huh?
You knew her when
Oh,
you...
well, it was instant love.
Well, when did you meet her? Before you went into
When
the
they
service?
had this, for me to go into service,
You met her right before that?
right where she was, where the woman, the girl brought her to the party for me to go overseas.
Okay.
And I said, I'll take her home. She lived in College Point.
Oh, wow.
And I had to take the bus to Flushing and then the line to Flushing to get to College Point. And I had to come home where there was nothing running. I had to walk practically from College Point to Brooklyn.
Wow.
And my mother called me a bum for getting there at 3 o'clock in the
Wow.
morning.
So you met your prospective wife
Was-
right before you went in?
Yeah, it was instant love.
Oh.
Because when I was kissing her, my lips were blistered.
Oh.
I couldn't get over it.
Wow.
And it was instant. And mind you, you meet other girls even before, but I think instantaneously, mentally and physically, she was. Because I went out with other women, beautiful too, but nothing up here.
Wow.
Jerry was secretary to Gulf Oil CEO.
Wow.
So she had to know. In
Yeah.
fact, even in service, reluctant, my regret, she used to say, Joe, would you mind if I took a break and go with the girls to have a smoke? I said, honey, you don't have to ask me for permission, but I'm sorry because she died of breast cancer. And I'm sorry that I did try to turn her the other way.
But nobody knew back then?
No,
Nobody knew? It's not-
Nobody knew.
So,
But I blame myself.
well, you shouldn't, but when you came back then, so let's finish with your service first. So did you correspond with her?
Oh, I got mail every day.
You did, you wrote letters back and
10 to
forth?
14 pages.
Wow.
Even if I had to do it under a blanket with a searchlight. And the two GIs next to me say, you're a nut. And they were sleeping on the floor because they didn't want to make the bed. Afraid of inspection. Because they would come around. That quarter had to bounce.
Oh, it had to be smooth.
Smooth. And then the locker and everything. And that's a knowledgeable thing, too, that you learn in service.
What's that?
The inspection is not for the way the clothes and the locker are made and your blanket. The inspection is they would rip the blanket off the thing to see if you ejaculated while you're in service. And that if you went to town, that you didn't have collusion with a woman who might have had HIV or syphilis, or that, because then it would spread to the other GIs.
Oh, I see.
And their mentality was that you not only lose one man, you lose 7 men in a patrol. And it could spread like wildfire.
Wow.
And you had a PX, which you had to come back to. And you didn't know. And most of the guys, when they went to service, they went with only one thing in mind.
What's that?
Carry a paper bag, because you didn't care what the woman looked like. You would put it over her head just so you would have sex.
Oh,
You would do anything for sex. GIs. I think statistics show every number of minutes a man is thinking, same and more, because you ejaculate even if you don't, because of your dreams you will do it. And they don't know what you did, or how you did it, or when you did it.
Wow.
That was the main reason. You had to go to the PX, and you had to, before going to town, they would advise you to take your prophylactics just in case. And if you ran back, because that's the first thing, you say, why are you running back? Because you want to make sure that you didn't catch anything.
Oh, gee.
Because a lot of repercussions, you get court-martialed.
Sure. Or get very sick.
In fact, there was one guy, the guy come to me, we're going to go to Indiana because Michael has got a woman there in the room. Then I found out she was nothing but a nymphomaniac. I said, I'm out of here. I'm not going here.
Okay.
No way. But some guys don't.
Wow. So you kept in touch with Jerry the whole time you were in the service?
Yeah, I wrote every day. Made sure, always look for her mail too.
Nice. Okay, so do you remember did you keep in touch with any friendships, or how was the camaraderie in your group?
Well, that was another sad part, because when I went back, other guys were assigned differently, and I heard two guys that used to sleep close by say that they didn't make it. Another guy, believe it or not, came from Michigan. The other thing that was interesting too, like with Ferzola, is it's a name was quite popular. I couldn't understand that because I didn't think my father got around.
Maybe they had a big family way back in time.
Well, he did have family in Italy.
Yeah.
In fact, when I visited with my wife there, my mother wanted me to go see it, but I didn't want to go to see family. I wanted just to show her in Italy, and I wanted to see it myself. Say we would go another time, too, because there was a large family. But how does a mother send a boy 15 in that era,
Right.
World War I, and wind up to Brazil?
Brazil? Italy?
No, my mother went to Argentina. She went to school there. My father went to Brazil or Mexico.
Oh.
And I used to listen to them as a child tell stories. One of the stories was about how they were sitting on a log to have a drink, so on, until the log moved. And it was a 35-foot pine top
Oh, geez. Where was that?
in South America.
So, when you were in the service, you were mainly with the general. You didn't really have a group of guys with you.
There were instances before, if he was busy or away, I would be at the barracks.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
And in the barracks, winter time come, and you've seen things like guy who had to feed the stove because Indiana got cold with the wind, and he would be shoveling to the point where the guys were taking their bed outside because
It's too hot.
Too hot. A lot of things like that you don't realize.
Right. Now, did you do anything for recreation? What did you do when you're off duty?
Well, guys had different passes for the weekend, or they would go to the center and so on. Because in them days, like even today, military schools would have parties with girls. That was sad in a way because you met girls who were yearning for love.
Yeah.
And when they heard you were leaving, tears left with their
Sure.
eyes too, and things like that. And you had even like this one friend that I had a close relationship with. He says, "Joe, we're going to go to Kentucky today, this weekend." When I went to Kentucky, we crashed a people of color wedding.
Oh, gee.
And I says, "John, are you crazy?"
Yeah.
I says, "I'm out of here." Because they all eyes are on you.
Yeah.
Not only that, he's a good-looking guy. He gets up and cuts it on a couple. I says, "John, I'm going back."
Yeah.
You
Wow.
go.
How did you get there? By bus?
You hitched rides.
Oh, you hitched rides.
That's the way you travel. You
Well, I
hitch
guess
rides.
Indianapolis wasn't that far from the border of Kentucky.
Oh, it was far, but I drive at speed 70, 80 miles an hour. You got there quick.
Wow.
But you got so that you wouldn't hitch a ride anymore.
Really?
Because it was so scary.
Yeah.
The accidents on thing were tremendous.
Now, you were in the service until 53, so the
Yeah.
war was still going on,
No, the war practically ended.
practically.
And then don't forget, I was only there for 18 months.
In Korea?
No, for my life
Your
in the
service.
military. So
Okay.
I put in my time.
Did they give you the option to re-up? Did you?
Under one condition.
What's that?
Well, I was AWOL in Germany.
Well, how did that happen?
Because I was in the 27th Infantry Division, they went to Germany.
Oh,
in the interim of time. But I never got to go with him, so I was AWOL. In fact, at the end, I had never gotten paid. I didn't care, because you only got $1 a day.
Oh, wow.
So I says, I'm not staying in for $1 a day.
Yeah.
I want to go home to my mom and Jerry.
Huh. Okay, so how did you return home from Indiana when you were done?
Train. At the back of the train with a couple of the guys that from New York, so on, with a case of beer, swearing and throwing the bottle over the rail in the back.
Jeez.
You were happy to be going home.
Were you in uniform?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then mind you, at that time it took 18 hours
Wow.
by train to get back to New York.
Sure. How were you received by your family and friends in your community?
Well, right after Mom, and she was glad to see me, and so on, I was looking to see Jerry.
Yeah. So how soon after? That was 53?
It had to be. I don't remember because I'm going on in years now.
Yeah.
And some of the things, and my memory's weird. If you mention something like it's pulled out of my brain, I'll come out with it. But as it is right off of the bat, no, specifically with names.
Names.
I even read How to Win Friends and Influence People to learn how to do it. Still have a problem with it.
Now, what happened after you got back? Did you get married right away, or did
Well,
you?
I wined her and dined her.
Yeah. Did you go back to your old job?
No.
What did you
No.
do?
In fact, I wound up going back to the Hotel New Yorker, and then from there I went back to the company. Metco. I went back to this Metco, metallizing engineering,
Oh, okay.
which was, when you get a pot with copper on the bottom, stainless on there, well, that's not soldered or welded. You mix the molecular atoms with the atoms in the copper and the atoms in the stainless steel till you split them, and then they coagulate, and not like solder, not like welding, it becomes part of it.
Huh.
The atoms come together.
Okay.
That's how you could cook in it and so on.
And that's what you worked on?
Yeah, metallizing engineering was a fantastic, interesting job.
How long did you do that?
All that till even we got married and after we got married.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so how was it readjusting to civilian life?
So long as I was with Jerry, it was all well. And my life was around her.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even look at it. And I even warned, I says, men are voyeurs. We look at women, but that doesn't mean that we'll vacate the one you love. And I told her right off, I said, I might look at another woman. One, because I got a camera's eye. See, that was another job I had, shooting models,
When was that?
before I got married.
Oh, after the service?
Yeah, after the service. At Madison Avenue. But then I got drafted, and I didn't have that job longer than 5 months, I think.
Oh, so you did that before you got drafted?
Before, yeah, that too. See, and the other thing about that was interesting, models, you would think perfect, but there was one thing on models that every model didn't like, their feet.
Oh,
That's mostly for wearing high heels.
right.
And they were very reluctant to show that. It's interesting how my eyes picked up things. And I gotta say, from other guys, listening to their talk, like in the locker rooms, that you hear, that was not my life with thinking. I was thinking. Even this day now, I wish I had a key to turn off at night. Of course, I'm constantly thinking.
Well, that's good to keep your mind active.
Yeah.
But what did you photograph the models for? Magazine?
modeling.
Oh, for modeling jobs?
Yeah, for the models that they would come in to be photographed if they were acceptable for such and such a thing.
I see.
It was in Manhattan on Park Avenue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you remain in contact with any fellow veterans?
No,
No.
because my life in the beginning, even my friends from when I grew up with, it was just,
When did you get married?
I think right at 53.
Ah,
I think I got married right then and there.
Wow.
Because I was afraid I couldn't chance that.
Yeah, it's a loser,
Chance it,
yeah.
yeah.
Are you a member of any veterans organizations?
No.
No?
There again, mostly because, like politics, you have to do what the guy says. I didn't care for that.
How do you think,
Also, I learned from my father.
how's that?
Because evidently my father must have had a tremendous knowledge. Like, I don't know how he grew up. I don't know how he got to be so smart that when you'd walk to a wedding, everybody got quiet. When the family was to visit and my father walked in, it was the way everybody in the neighborhood went to Jim for advice.
They respected him.
Tremendously.
Yeah.
Tremendously. And there are things I learned. Never knew he played the piano. I never believed in Christmas until on the floor where the bedroom was like this here, I didn't believe in Santa Claus. And I'm in my bed. When I got up, there was a whole thing that the town took pictures, angels coming from the ceiling, the big Lionel line with the lake and the Bethlehem. How did they get in it? The furniture had to be moved. I didn't hear nothing. What was put under the tree for me, I didn't hear put down.
How old were you?
I was, what, in my teens?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are there any life lessons you learned from the military? What life lessons did you learn from the military?
My maturity.
Really?
I grew up fast.
Really?
Fast. Not like the other fellas. Not like the other fellas.
Why do you think that is?
Because I was serious with things. I was a thinker. I didn't even realize I was such a thinker from that there time on. Because 3 things that my father told me when I was a child. I don't care where you go, but I want to know who you go with. And if a crowd goes this way, Joe, they lost it. You go the other way. And he taught me what I said, Joe, you need the eyes to see, the mind to create, and the hands to execute. And my father was always using his hands, and he would always talk in front of people.
Those good things to learn. How do you think your military service impacted your feelings about war and the military in general?
There are a lot of things about war people don't know. And it's sad. To the point where I even ask religious people, rabbis, Protestant, Catholic, how come if God made man in his image and likeness, men wind up killing more men, women, and children?
Did you ever get an answer?
And mind you, think about it. Gave him the Garden of Eden, wasn't happy. Told him, just don't take the forbidden fruit, you'll be okay. And then my own thought, without asking that question, how is it? My thought, he must have stepped back, say, I know what, and this time I'll do a better job by creating women. And think about it. You touch a woman's skin, smooth as a petal on a rose, right? She has the scent of perfume like a flower. And don't women like flowers? But everybody uses a different ointment. The other thing, her hair like ferns around the rose. And also, she's a mother, blessed. And this thing will be maybe a little gross to you and so on. But if you put a man in the nude and a woman in the nude, being modeling, women are all over magazine pages. You don't see men. Michelangelo was the first to show genitalia, but you don't even see it in that. But there are 2 things on a man when you photograph in the nude are totally useless. Can you guess?
I don't know. Oh.
Why is it? Could he have stopped that and realized he had to create a woman? Because a man would not be able to do it. In fact, on the air a couple of months ago, on the air they said that men are still in arrested development. You could get men to war, but you're not going to get women to, by the way, to war until you convince them. And that's the other thing. That's something the military could promise a woman your full education. What the military promises, you can't depend on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And remember, I don't even know if I should say this, because there's something in the military they're still fighting to happen, and it hasn't happened yet.
Oh.
An officer. You see what's going on with politics, with the treating a woman? Same way in the military. Now, if you got a woman in the base and so on, You can't take them to court.
Why not?
Military won't allow it.
Oh,
And so they say that politics, only now, what's been going on for how many years? Has to be
it's sad.
changed.
It has to be changed. What message would you like to leave for future generations who might hear this interview?
Most of the things, like I said, to be aware, like them 3 things too. And like thanking a woman for the gift of children. Certainly he could. And look at the other thing that you learn in service. When you go before going overseas, you got to get 29 injections.
Whoa, really?
And you pass a line. A guy here, the woman here, giving injections left and right. But you see guys fall. Who sees blood? Women think of men, the macho guy. Men are not macho. And they can't, because even coming out of service, you ask even a guy who goes hunting will not go and kill a deer. They'll kill it, but they won't gut it. Men won't be in the kitchen cutting up a chicken. It's a woman. We've been subjugating women for too long a time. It's about time, women. And look at ISIS, what they could, and then look what they do with a woman. Stone them to death, throw them off buildings. That's got to stop. A woman has got 3 gifts that men don't have. Multitask, intuition, because she has to know if Johnny is sick or if Mary, something's wrong, to take it to the doctor. Guys don't have that gift. That's why you could convince them in the military by showing the movies, machine gunning, to join, and they'll join. Women don't do that. Women use their eyes and ears, but they're subjugated, mostly to please a guy. But now you see women coming to back, over 100 now coming in.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Get along. Who knows how many they're in regular life with bosses.
That's right, that's right. Is there anything, Joe, we haven't discussed about your service that you'd like to share? Anything else you remember?
Well, I've been hesitating about some of them things because sometimes I feel like I should have, no matter what, taken them pictures that I seen home to really show what war's like. But it's
they were government property.
Government
Yeah.
property.
You did.
And the government wouldn't want it.
Right.
Because you got to have guys joining. And men are easier to join and told what to do. You can't get a woman to do. There'll be some point they stop. Look at the black race. If it wasn't for women, they would have never come out of slavery. If it wasn't for the moms in the black race, they would have never gotten to vote. And just think about it. Like when the Pilgrims came here, if the Indians didn't embrace the Pilgrims, where would they be today?
Yeah.
Because they gave them what to eat and everything else. Look at, I ask children, what does a bird have that a plane has to have to fly? Children don't know. The rudder. There's no rudder on a bird. And yet, look at birds in a flock. They all move in unison.
Right.
Not even radar helps us. But they all do it sync
Yeah.
going. It's amazing. Look a monarch bird, how it's born in Mexico and knows its mate in Canada 6,000 miles away.
Does it?
The things we don't know.
Yeah.
Because, but not, one other thing maybe, though more for public. During World War II, from 1940 to 45, nothing in the States could be raised a penny. Not gas, not food, not anything. Everything was fixed. Why don't we have that now?
Yeah, wow, that's a good question. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, like professors that have heard me speak or talk, Joe, you got to write a book.
Yeah, you should.
But my life is oriented where what used to take me a day now takes me 3 days.
Sure.
And the swallowing, cook. I don't have much to eat. The same thing for several years. I'm sick of looking at it. And sure, I have to take 6 a day. I can't stand it, even looking at it.
Sorry. But now we have your military memories. So thank you. Thank you, Joe, for your service and sharing all your
It helps
thoughts.
somebody, and too, and not in the air. And for my ability to have it, I can only thank God and my mom. You know?
Thank you. Thank you,
And
Joe.
Jerry had a lot to do, because even below her picture, because what I wasn't before, I am now. It takes a woman to make a man.
How long were you married?
63 years.
Oh, congratulations.
And I would love to do it. And one thing I would like to change, when you go to the altar, I would not say till death do us part. I would say for eternity.
Yeah.
And mind you, another thing, thank God, tomorrow, we weren't blessed with children. And that's my guilt problem. I wasn't that smart. Because when we went to Catholic charities and other things, they said Joe would be $20,000 to
Adopt?
a child. My house cost less than that, and the car. And then I thought I was smart. Jerry, let's get the house so we could say we have a home with 3 bedrooms to raise children. But right away out of his mouth, he said to, but don't you have a mortgage, Joe, that you and your wife were going on? We can't give it to you.
Yeah.
And she loved children. She loved, to the point where she sat down and one night watching Texaco on TV, she said, Joe, we got to talk. And when I asked, what is it? She looked so serious. She said, maybe we should get divorced so you can meet a woman that will give you children. Know the story of Humpty Dumpty? I didn't know what to do. The only thing I could think of doing it, I went to a jewelry store and got another ring. I said, Jerry, please, in the name of God, don't leave me.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Well, you had a long life together.
And then the other thing, too, when she passed away, I was doing this to her. This meant I love you when you did it twice.
Yeah.
They said she's going to go any minute. And with her last breath, lightly, she squeezed
She
mine.
did. Oh,
And her last letter to me before, she says, Joe, I know you love me.
thank you, Joe. Thanks for sharing that and being with
I'm
us
sorry,
today.
I'm sure I went over
No,
and everything.
not at all. Thank you so much.
Hope it